Shivika. Thank you so much for being on this interview with me on the Student Success Series.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope this experience and this sharing really helps whoever watches this.
I have so many questions for you given everything that you've done so far in the past couple of years. The biggest question for everyone going to study abroad is what after? Like, am I going to get a job? Am I not? Obviously, a lot of Indian students want like jobs on campus, part-time jobs while studying. But just specifically for you, how was it once you graduated?
My course ended in October of 2017, and after that, I had 3 more months on my visa. And all my friends left, like all of them. Nobody was back in England except for myself. So I stayed back and decided to look for jobs and see if I want to settle down here or what are the other opportunities, or let me see what happens in the next 3 months, because I felt incomplete in the entire experience. And that's when I started working in a few places part-time. So I worked in a warehouse. I worked with a huge retailer here. Then I worked with another grocery store here, a big name. So I worked with all of these, and then in between, somebody told me about the Tier 1 graduate entrepreneur scheme that Warwick does and many different universities do, which I had no clue about. So there was always this little Kira in me, to start my own thing. But I always thought that I need the kind of experience that I need and then I'll go for it. But once I found out about the scheme, I was like, why not try it? And I casually applied for it. I was like, let me do this. I was doing my application. I was like, let's see if this works. And then probably I'll start a business here. My application got approved from Warwick University. And that's where things took a 360-degree turn for me. So from studying MA International Relations to starting my own business, I had to submit a business plan. I had to give a pitch to that panel. And it was the first time I was presenting for a business that I really started working on recently, like really started ideating, brainstorming on it. And that got through. And then I came back to India to apply for my visa and stuff. I was in India for 6 months, applied for visa, went back for my graduation for the July ceremony. And then that's how things shifted. And I was here on the business visa. Then I applied again. The second time it was a startup visa that I got from the university again, because I had done enough improvement and work on my idea by then. So yeah, so far it has been very like bumpy, but it's nice to be from that MA to this person who's now establishing a business. So yeah, not many people know about this route, that you could be establishing a business in the UK once you finish your studies, and there are opportunities like that instead of just looking at tier 2 and just looking at other visas.
What is the graduate program, and who can apply for it? Like, is there an eligibility criteria?
Well, there is an eligibility criteria for it. So when I applied, I had completed my master's then. And once you finish your studies, there's always this department in any university. So in Warwick, it was the Warwick Enterprise, and they were responsible for looking into these applications. And how this worked was if you're interested, then you need to fill in an application. The application goes to this enterprise. They would then look into your application, whether your idea is viable, if it's really required in the UK or not, will it be scalable, how is it helping the UK market, and if your intentions to be here are basically to do business and not something else. That's what they're really testing.
Okay.
Actually.
Okay.
So I applied for it, and then I was supposed to submit a business plan and then present my pitch deck on what I'm going to do, who am I, who's my team, what am I going to be building in the next 1 or 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, and that got through. Then there is a process of waiting where you have to do the fund requirement, paperwork and all of that, and then you apply to the embassy and you're either approved, most likely. And if you're approved, then you can come back to the UK on a startup visa. The good thing this year is that back in 2017, that visa was only given for 1 year. Then you had to apply for another year. You get it for 2 years then.
Uh-huh.
But now what they do is you apply once, you get the visa for 2 years. You can be establishing your business for straight 2 years. So basically building the MVP or whatever stage you're at that point. Mm-hmm. So that's how it worked for me.
Wow, okay. So basically anybody who is, graduated as a master's program can apply technically to this, and then of course there's a problem. Even undergrad.
an undergrad. So once you finish your undergraduation, you could be applying for this visa, or you finish your master's, whatever course you're there for, and you should just be justifying some of the criteria that the embassy puts down for you, and you're good to go.
That is really, really good. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
So
Thank you.
now deep dive into what you actually do. So since the program got approved and it's been, I think, 2 years now, you've been working really hard on this. So what do you do and what does the company do?
Well, I started AVI back in 2018, and AVI is a student budgeting application that's launched both on iOS and Android. And how hopeless I was with my expenses, I knew I had to do something about this, and I think that's where it really began. And it really helps students to track their expenses, to manage money, to put down where they've been spending, to put down where they can save. And just recently we just launched a student card for University of Central Lancashire students, where they can purchase the card and then be getting discounts on campus with local businesses only, and they can go use the card and get about anywhere from 10 to 30% discount in that outlet. It could be a food place, it could be a salon, because we all know there's so many rounds that we make to the salons, and it's not cheap in England.
Yeah.
Threading done, to get your haircut done, but we all need it. So I think I kind of made use of my experience, where I knew that a haircut would cost me £30. Why not get it on a reduced price for a student? Because £30 is a lot for a student, right? Especially for just a haircut. It's not food that you can use for the next 1 week.
Yeah.
So I kind of put all of those places on the card, and then students can use it, get avail discounts on it, and we're starting distribution next month. So it really revolves around making student life easy in the UK, especially financially, because this was a trouble I had back in the day. And I just want to make sure that whatever I learned, I could use that through AVI and make things easier for students. They should learn how to manage money, because it's a lifetime skill. If you don't know that, you're going to be struggling for your life all the time. So I think that's where my focus has been with AVI.
Okay, that's really cool. So there's a student card, and then you have like an app or something that students download, and that's how they track their expenses.
They download and track the expenses, put it down on there. So for example, if I had a coffee today for so and so price, you can put it down on the app. And if I had a meal outside, you can put it down there. And then once you've done it over the week, they'll show you that this is how much you've been spending. This is where you need to spend. And in the future, we're planning to put these offers on the app, so that it's not just 10 outlets, it's many, many outlets that students can get discounts on. And as the pandemic has hit so many businesses so badly, and I've come back recently and I see so many businesses shut, it's really sad to see those places close. And I think through this initiative, I'm kind of also helping out local businesses to get those discounts and get that student market to visit you, to have from you, and to consume what you're making and use your services, so that it helps both sides, both students to get a discount and the local businesses to make some business, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that works both ways. So that's really good. Yeah. And like for you now as an entrepreneur in the UK, how has that been for you? Like, you mentioned that of course there's a struggle, and of course there's been COVID and all of that, but for you personally, starting a company when it isn't exactly related to what you studied either, so there's like double struggle for you, because you're setting up a new thing and in a completely new industry. So how was that for you? How has it been?
So like I said, I don't come from an entrepreneurial or business background, so it was all very, very new for me. And especially just finishing my master's, and to convince my parents, oh, now I'm starting a business in England, it was a little bit of a hassle, but they were very supportive of me. So I think the first struggle really began to convince them that I won't be doing a job, but I will be starting my own thing.
Yes.
That's where really the struggle began. And they were like, but you just completed your studies, where is this business coming from? But very supportive. They were wholeheartedly supportive of what I was doing. That's why I'm back again here. And so that was a teeny tiny struggle in the beginning. Registering a company in the UK and to start something new is not as difficult as anyone would think it to be. So it was an easy process. I remember doing my application, and it barely took me 30 minutes, I think an hour or so. And by the time I woke up, my application and incorporation letter was with me. So it was pretty easy
That's
like that.
easy and straightforward. Okay.
Very straightforward. Yeah. So simple application, just needs your details, just needs your idea, and you have a company incorporated in the UK. So I only found out when I did it, but now students should know that it's very easy. It's not a big hassle to, start a company. Obviously, you should have a good idea. That's something that needs to be there.
Right.
But other than that, one of the biggest struggles when it comes to my startup has been having a team. I think once you start, you think that it's a misconception that most founders have is that I am the boss, I will do everything, company will run, and we'll have profits. Everything will go like great. But that didn't happen. And those were some of the obstacles that I had to face in my journey with API. And I remember when the first team left, I got a call this morning and I was going through something personally. And this guy calls and he's like, we can't be working with you anymore, Shiv, because we're starting our own company. Already going through something personally and then getting that call early in the morning, I was in tears. And this is basically 6 to 8 months into starting up. So, but today I know better today because I know people come and go in organizations and in companies, and you have to deal with it. You have to cope with it. And this is not something that if somebody leaves, everything shuts down.
Right.
It never happens. So these were some of the challenges I had to face and some of the things I learned on the journey, doing the kind of research, understanding what MVP means, and understanding how to, you know, make those choices that will help me in my business instead of just doing things for the heck of it. It took me a good amount of time, I'm not going to lie, because not coming from that background and not having that academic background also can really put you back to zero. And that's where you start your ABC and 1 2 3. So I literally did my ABC and 1 2 3, and that's how I've come so far. But it was fun. Like I said, it was bumpy, but it was fun, and I enjoyed every bit of it. And I think pandemic, like you mentioned, that yes, there has been a pandemic and it must have affected the business. It did, of course. Things have been delayed like any other business. But the good part is, I keep telling this to all my friends and everyone who knows me, that the pandemic was a big assurance to me, because through the pandemic, I was working on this with no results, with nothing coming my way, with not even being in the country where I started. I was back home all this while, but still to work on it, to, be attending seminars and workshops and being part of incubators and accelerators from India to the UK. I knew that this is what I want to do, and I'll do anything to, keep this going. So pandemic was a big assurance that I don't want to do a job, or I'm not going to any other industry to start or do something, but I'm coming back to this. So whatever struggles, I'm 100% about what I'm doing. So no matter the highs and the lows, I know if it's not going to work, you quit. If something doesn't work, you don't fail, and then you feel like it's not working. So that's the kind of approach I have today over everything that has happened over the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's really good, because I was just going to say that you don't even earn in your startup like with anyone. The first few years, you're not going to be earning any money. It's all whatever is there. You're just trying to make a product or trying to, provide a service. And then hopefully you assume that, okay, if you work really hard and if everything works out, then you'll start earning. So there is a lot of like support, even financially, that you will need from people to help you just set it up and keep it going. So that's also something like everybody needs to consider, even while applying for, you get a startup visa, great, but then there's work, and then you have to support yourself through those times. So both of those things are a big thing. So anyway, just closing out on your last bits of advice or anything that you want to talk about with students who are currently coming in, or something that you wish Indian students should know before coming to the UK, what would your last bits to them be?
My last bits would be, I think when we leave from India, we are very sure that it's going to be a very independent life in the UK. Nobody's going to say anything. Nobody's going to stop you from going or coming back at a certain time or doing certain activities that you might just want to do. But what UK has taught me as a student, and now as an entrepreneur is that with the independence comes a lot of accountability. And if you are not holding yourself accountable, things can go haywire. And then you really don't have anybody to pick you up. It's yourself who has to pick yourself up. And even if it means like your academics or your fun life or your social life, or you start a business or you work somewhere, the independence will always come with a lot of self accountability. So make sure you hold yourself accountable to whatever it is that you do. And once again, like, make sure you're managing your finances well. It can be a huge stress. I've been there. So make sure you handle that well. If you know that you're on a budget, make sure you handle that well, because I've seen students stressing too much about it. So handle that part really well, at least. And live your best life whilst you're here. Make the most of every little opportunity that you get. Travel, because that changes you, that helps you grow and learn a lot.
Thank you so much for all your insights, for sharing so much information on England and how your journey has been. So thank you very much for being here.